welcome to episode 37 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I'm once again joined by my good friend, Gocubs 711.
Do you think Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek ever think about the fact that they're never going to do anything else with their lives?
You know what? I think that they've thought about it, and then they've just accepted it, because they clearly have not moved on for years.
Well, I think they just look at their paycheck and then go, okay.
Yeah, right. We know we have a half-hour slot on whatever syndicated channel picks us up.
Oh, which ones are they on in your area? Because they're both on ABC for me.
Oh, mine's ABC too. It might be the same. It might just be ABC.
No, because in Champaign, Wheel of Fortune's on NBC.
There you go. Yeah, they'll get they're getting paid by multiple networks, and on every single day, or every single weekday, I think that they're very happy with their lives. Half-hour game shows. They're like, yep, I'm good. And then Alex Trebek, of course, also
they record like a fucking ton of.
Oh, right. And then Alex Trebek also gets that extra money from the Medicare commercials that he does.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck else he does. But yeah, that's a fair point. I don't think anyone is sleeping, is not sleeping over Alex Trebek and Pat Sajak. I think they're pretty,
just accepted the fact that
that they're pretty. Everyone should think that they're living good lives, that they're not having rough lives. They're enjoying themselves, and that's fair.
Vanna White is almost a verb now, so she's at least got that going for her.
That's true. A theory of mine is I'm pretty sure she gets paid like a tiny bit more than he does, because she
does
really,
more work than he does.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like. I feel like that she gets a little bit more than he. But anyways, welcome to the podcast. It's not related to game shows. I wish it was. You know what? That's a fucking great idea.
That would be an interesting podcast.
Game show podcast. Well, I could watch classic game shows.
That'd be awesome. Like the really old ones.
Yeah, and then just talk about how fucking Stacy blew a $500 lead on fucking Pressure Luck or whatever.
No whammies.
No whammies. I actually would love to go even deeper in that, but I know we have to move on. Welcome to week 6 podcast. So we're nearing very close to the mid-season point of the podcast already. That's kind of insane.
Yep. Week 9, the week that we decided last year is the week that we will make our Super Bowl picks.
Yeah, I mean week 9 is like it is exactly the midpoint of the year.
It's when maybe not quite halfway through the games of week 9.
Pretty much. Well, not necessarily. Yes, I see what you mean.
It is the week where all of the teams have played at least 8 games.
Pretty much. Yeah, it ranges, but yeah, it's pretty much the center point. That'll be a pretty loaded show overall.
Oh yes,
it'll be Super Bowl picks. I wouldn't even mind redoing some of our playoff picks and just seeing how it comes out at this point. Because I went back and looked at mine. Bengals last place in the AFC North. Panthers last place in the NFC South. It's
Buccaneers not being last place, like.
Yeah, it is just can the Buccaneers figure out a way to pull it out? But yeah,
I mean,
they might.
The Falcons are playing.
That's true. We'll see. They're playing each other on Sunday. We'll get a first taste of that battle. But as always, we're gonna go through our game of the week, blowout of the week, team chaos of the week. Then we're gonna do our most surprising and disappointing teams, as well. And of course, we get into our week 6 picks, and then go fantasy with Gocubs as always. Will it be Tyler Boyd this week?
It will not be. I will choose someone different.
But do you still recommend Tyler Boyd?
I'd still recommend Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, okay.
Especially this week against the Steelers. Oh my god.
This is a bit that's one of my favorites. But anyways, let's talk about the game of the week. And this was, I didn't really think that there was any game that like really stood out last week. Well, I mean there were some surprises, but I didn't really feel like there was any game of the season potentials. But there was one really chaotic game, and it was the Giants at the Panthers.
That was the one I was hoping you were gonna say.
Yeah, it was. It really did come down to the last. It came down to the last seconds, and the biggest moral of the game comes on the fact that the Giants scored a last-second touchdown, or one of the last-second touchdowns, and then the Panthers had like a little bit of time to try to get into field goal range. And this was, by the way, gave me major flashbacks to a few seasons ago, the game that that ignited the Josh Norman Odell Beckham rivalry. That it was a last second touchdown from the Giants because they came back from like 28 fucking points down to tie them at 35, and then it was the signature Cam Newton head nod that has become a gif, very popular gif around Twitter, and his team got down to field goal range, and Graham Gano kicked a field goal. So this time it works very similarly, but they get down to, I want to say it was like near like the 47-48 of the Giants side of the field. And at this point, it's a 63-yard field goal. And the Giants have been screwed over before with long field goals. Last year with the Eagles, a 61-yard field goal that made Jake Elliott a fucking star on the Eagles.
Yes.
Clinched that victory. And you would think, it's not going to happen again. There's no way it's going to happen again. And sure enough, Mr. Graham Gano comes in here and kicks a 63-yard field goal. And I think it could have gone for 75 yards, honestly. It was a beautiful, beautiful kick. And the Panthers move to 3-1 on the season, and are currently right up with the Saints, who are just a game up, but that's just because the Panthers have played one less game than the Saints.
Yes.
But they are right in the mix of it. Go ahead.
My opinion, the very clear year where the kicker is shown a lot of games this year have shown like the importance of a good kicker.
Mm-hmm.
More in the sense that all have had really bad kickers this year, or really injured kickers. And if you have someone reliable and who's been to the Pro Bowl a bunch of times, you don't have to worry. As the Spanish broadcasters of this game shouted, "Gano la gano, gano la gano, gano la gano." Just a hilarious clip if you haven't heard it yet.
No, I have. It was
Yes.
it was excellent, and
Yes.
it was kind of, I had a very similar feeling last year, because when the Giants lose, I'm like, I've just become numb at this point. I'm not like really upset by it, but I actually kind of enjoyed the fact that I went through because of just the utter like praise that gets heaped on a kicker. And for like the insane calls. Like, I'm pretty sure Kenny Albert's voice was about to crack, and this guy has been doing like fucking like 1 million games per day, like between like the MLB postseason and the hockey games, and also having to do NFL every single week. The guy's everywhere, and like he has to like give all of his energy into this one field goal, and like he did, yeah. But it was like he was almost strained by the end. He was like, it was good. It's just, but I loved it, and I think what the biggest takeaway outside of the kicker with this game was the defenses kind of gave up a lot of points overall to offenses that, while the quarterbacks didn't play too well overall, both Newton and Manning, the weapons around these guys have greatly improved. I think that's a bigger deal for the Panthers, who have had a long history of not having good weapons.
Yes.
But Christian McCaffrey is still playing as well as he has been. And, Devin Funchess was very much in this game as well, I believe.
I think so.
And it was just such a good game for just letting the offensive playmakers loose. Saquon Barkley had a pretty good game. Almost had an injury scare, but he ended up surviving that. Odell Beckham didn't have any touchdown catches, but he threw a touchdown pass.
Yes.
So that was interesting. And of course there's this drama over the Giants, which I don't even want to get into. I think it's all nonsense. Odell Beckham and calling out his teammates or calling out his team, forget it. It's just like and everyone gets like so up in arms about players speaking out. about his team, and like I get it. Like I don't know what you're doing, Odell. Like stop. Like you're just causing more drama for your team, but at the same time, it's like whatever. It's like ignore it. It's fine. Or even if you can't ignore it, at least just everyone's just wasting so much energy on it, and it's like the boat thing all over again. It's like come on, stop. But regardless, I think the Giants, they're falling to 1-4. They're exactly who I thought they were going to be. And the Panthers are not who I thought they were going to be. They're better, and
Hell yeah, dude. North Turner.
And Norv Turner's playing well. And again, Cam Newton didn't have the best game, but he is showing that he's still the leader of this Panthers. Of this Panthers team. He's still the face of it, and he's doing the best that he can to keep this team in. It's gonna be between the Panthers and the Saints right now, and we're not gonna see them face off until week 15. It's gonna be wild.
Really? Is it 15-17 for Panthers Saints?
That is the latest of the divisional rivalries.
Yeah. Wow.
So you have to wait a long time for that, but until then,
that stretch of games is going to decide the division.
It's essentially it, because as long as they stay toe to toe with each other and they have a similar record, I look, the Falcons, they could come back. I mean, I'm not going to completely give up on the team. I am very concerned about them. The Bucks, it's going to be tough to convince me about Jameis Winston right now. So I think it's going to be those two, and we'll see how it plays out. But fun game. It was a back and forth affair for the most part. The Giants, I think, were down a little bit more than the Panthers at one point. They ended up coming back, and the Panthers, they of course took care of business. Let us move forward here to the blowout of the week, and for the first time this season, we actually had a tie for the blowout of the week. So I chose the one that I thought was the most newsworthy, and I had to go with Monday Night Football. The Redskins.
Oh, I would have crucified you if you hadn't gone with it.
Yeah, no, it was that or the Falcons and Steelers, but I think we could talk about them and their surprising, disappointing teams or whatever. But the Redskins at Saints. First of all, once again with me and my Team Chaos just not coming to town and not doing their job at all. Bye weeks are now, I guess, overrated because the Panthers did not. They had a great game, but some of the players did not seem too on point at times, and then the Redskins were just abysmal. And I'm just thinking, yeah, bye weeks they throw you off your groove, I think, overall. And it was not a good game at all for anyone on that franchise right now. But enough about them. The Saints and Drew Brees, which, by the way, I stated the wrong record that he was going for. Last week I said passing touchdowns. It was actually passing yards that he was going for, and he got the most passing yards in NFL history, career passing yards, around the second quarter. It was really quickly. It was on a touchdown as well, and he was immediately... well, first of all, he was given like this laminated piece of paper, like, congrats, you fucking broke the internet, which was like such complete horseshit. Like, come on, man, just don't even do that. Don't even give him that shit. It was like the ref presenting it to him.
I know.
It was so stupid. But the whole David Baker there, who's like the chairman of the Hall of Fame, and taking the football, and then Drew Brees telling his kids to never give up on your dreams, and his wife being there, and you remember how good of a person Drew Brees is on and off the field, and
he deserves that record.
Yeah, I really do, and I think that people, when we talk about like the top quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, I would not hesitate to put him in the top 10 at least, if not even the top 5. I understand, like, oh, he played in the dome. Well, like, okay, but like, there's been players that have played in the dome and have sucked ass. So like, that's not really like, I don't know where that criticism is coming from.
Yeah.
But he
threw the ball a lot more than other people.
Exactly, and
What else? What else do you need? What else do you need to know?
Right. And like everyone was talking about how he came back from the soldier surgery. He got surgery on his soldiers.
Yep.
The shoulder
his shoulders
surgery.
too.
Yeah, his shoulders too. And it was a really, really bad injury to the point that people thought it was going to be career-ending. But then he went and did a physical with the Dolphins, and that was when Nick Saban was coaching the team. And I'm sure you've heard everyone talking about it this week. And they failed him. They said that he did not pass the physical. And imagine if the Drew Brees ended up with the Dolphins, and if Nick Saban would be coaching Dolphins right now and not Alabama. Think of that. Think of that shit.
That would be wild.
That would be wild. But instead, he fails the physical, and Nick Saban forever hates the doctors. He still talks about it to this day. And he instead goes to New Orleans, and he gives hope to a city that suffered a terrible hurricane. He came in a year after the hurricane happened, and a few years after that, he goes on to have this amazing campaign. He loses the MVP only slightly to Peyton Manning, but then wins the Super Bowl and beats Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl. He's had an amazing career to this point. He's one of the most 5,000 yards, a ton of 5,000 yards seasons, tons of games where he threw for 400 yards at least. He has just been incredible, and he prays unto him. As for the Saints themselves, I mean, we just talked about them. They're in the mix for the division. They're 4-1. They're looking really good. Their defense is starting to look a little bit better. And Mark Ingram coming back from suspension, very good as well. Any notes from you on this game, Drew Brees or anyone on that team?
You covered it pretty much. Drew Brees is a god.
He's a god. Yeah, and it's funny because it's like I know, like Tom Brady, I have a ton of respect for, and I'm not gonna take anything away from him. Peyton Manning, I used to like, and I haven't really loved him in recent years, since he's retired and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been a huge Peyton Manning fan.
Yeah, there's understandable reasons why. And those two have been talked about as like the top two quarterbacks in the game before Peyton Manning retired.
Tom Brady's the system quarterback.
Drew Brees to me he's just been there the entire time with those guys and hasn't gotten the respect he does, mostly because of the small market, because Manning is a fucking Manning.
Right.
Drew Brees deserves to be on every single conversation about greatest quarterbacks ever to play. Just simple.
Especially if he's on pace to break the touchdown record too.
Right. That's
and if
true.
he does that,
there you go. It's all smooth sailing from there. And Tom Brady, Tom Brady's like right behind Drew Brees in all these records, and I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady's gonna play till he's 65, but like at the same time, I feel like Tom Brady should be closer to retirement than Drew Brees is. I don't know if he'll ever catch Drew Brees. It would take something catastrophic happening, of course, knock on wood. But I do think that Drew Brees is gonna hold those records for a good long time. So we'll see what happens from there. Then our Team Chaos of the week, and again there was quite a few games with Team Chaos, and this was a very difficult one for me, but I went with the game that was the closest and the game that was the most fun to watch, and I was the Ravens at Browns. My goodness, the Ravens, I don't think any differently about this team because I do think that they played well offensively. I just think it's very difficult. Get ready for this. It is very difficult to win in Cleveland, and the Browns are playing really great defense. Denzel Ward is having an incredible rookie season thus far. And then Baker Mayfield has completely uplifted the spirit of this team. And despite not scoring a ton of points offensively, their offense overall could have played a little bit better. They were up against a really tough Ravens defense. And they were able to get it done in overtime, what they couldn't do a few weeks ago. And it was an impressive win, and I'm excited about the Browns, man. I think we got 3 really good teams in the AFC North. I don't know if the Browns are at the level.
And none of them are the Steelers.
Right, and none of them are the Steelers. Like that's to me, the AFC North is like I think the perfect example of a chaotic division right now.
Yeah.
And I think that the Bengals are currently running away with it a bit, especially after the Ravens lost. But I think the Ravens, the Browns are going to continue to be tough to play, especially the Browns at home. Like I said, I is very evident that that's going to be a problem for teams. Um, but the Ravens, I don't think that they're going to slow down. I think they're going to continue to play very well moving forward. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. Any notes on your any changes in your? I know that you have gotten much more light on Cleveland overall, but has it gotten to the point that you're rooting for the Browns at all?
I would not say rooting. I like their comebackness. Trust me, I get that. And I think they're going to be fun. They're definitely going to be fun to watch in the future. But I can't find myself, like, I can't find the room in my brain.
Too many bad work. I'm kidding. I kid.
Hey.
We all bandwagon.
I was on the Jaguars bandwagon before they were cool.
That's true. That's fair.
And I stayed on the Panthers bandwagon when they started sucking.
Yeah. I totally understand. Look, I've ranted about this before, but the idea of bandwagoning and everyone thinking it's a bad idea, no. Expand your mind, enjoy other teams. Don't limit yourself to one team, because otherwise you're gonna live and die by that team, and it's gonna suck when they suck,
and then you're gonna be a Cowboys fan the rest of your life.
Right. Right, so
it's a miserable existence knowing that Jerry Jones decides your happiness level.
Jerry Jones decides your happiness. It's true. It's true. It is very true. And that's why you do not want to follow the Dallas Cowboys bandwagon specifically. But
right.
I totally was just taking that shot because other people would, and I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I am totally on board with with jumping on bandwagons, as I am on the Browns bandwagon for sure. I would like to see them win more games, and I think they have the tools. They're starting to get there. I'm still not loving Hugh Jackson, but everything else on the team I'm beginning to like a little bit more. Let's move on here. Most surprising team for this week. For in terms of the games that we have not talked about. For me, I'll start on this one. It goes with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are back, or they're starting to get there. At least they played a game against a really bad defense, and James Conner once again showed why he is a force to be reckoned with, and I think why the Steelers are so comfortable with getting rid of Le'Veon Bell at some point, whether that be at the trade deadline or at the end of the season. But regardless, the offense played very well, and the defense is starting to take shape, especially when TJ Watt is playing very well. The Watt brothers are very scary. I would not want to be on their angry side, and especially I think TJ Watt has currently. JJ Watt's played very well this season, or he's been starting to play very well. But I think TJ Watt is right now in line to have a little bit of a better season than his older brother, and it's getting there with him. So I'm starting. I'm not like absolutely loving this Pittsburgh Steelers team, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like they're gonna fall apart again. I'm not there yet. I don't want to go back there yet. I think that they're gonna be competitive in games at least, and that's where I'm at. What do you have for most surprising team?
Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of a different route on this one.
Okay.
And even though they lost, I'm gonna say the Seahawks.
Okay, go ahead.
And the reason is because they almost beat the Rams.
Yeah.
A team that has a really good defense, granted with some injuries. They still put up 31 points against that. And I don't think that Wilson in the game is like has lost it quite yet.
Right.
They're rebuilding. They're still going to have Russell Wilson for a while. I don't think that's debatable. He is their franchise quarterback, and he's going to continue to be like for the length
He
that Drew
should.
Brees has been for the Saints.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks just because they did better than anyone expected them to against this team.
Yeah, the Russell Wilson, like, getting rid of Russell Wilson rumors have been really strange. They've popped up every off season.
Yeah.
And I get really uncomfortable thinking about that because I'm like, with the Seahawks, who've made like a lot of pretty smart decisions to kind of help the team be where it was, at least during its dynasty era, where many people wanted it to be a dynasty at least, in like the 2013 or early 2000s era.
Right. With Wilson and the Legion of Boom.
Right. And I just, it would be unfathomable to me, like, because at least like the secondary, I kind of understand why they have to move on from Richard Sherman, why they might move on from Earl Thomas at the end of the year. I get it in some ways. I don't understand getting rid of Russell Wilson, especially considering how hard it is to get a quarterback in this league.
For sure.
It would be,
and how reliable he's been, especially since he got really good.
Every single year it seems like he's the only guy that's able to make plays, and every once in a while you do have those other players that pop in for the Seahawks that end up playing very well. I think it was a very strong game for the Seahawks. Their running game seems to be there even without Rashad Penny, which now is kind of looking like a weird pick on their part. But go ahead.
You think with a really terrible offensive line, just take a chance on a first round running back instead of
Rashad Penny was not even expected. Rashad Penny was not even expected to be in the first round. I don't even understand why. I still don't really. I didn't get it at the time. I still don't get it now. I was hoping that would be proven wrong. It would be cool to have a bunch of first round running backs performing really well, but he just hasn't. But
instead, we had a bunch of first round quarterbacks performing well because all four of them won this week.
Exactly. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Very good anecdote. The quarterbacks have. It seems like all the teams are kind of happy right now with their quarterback picks. Which I'm like, that's good. We need that. We need some quarterback stability in this NFL. And right now it's kind of benefiting all of us that's the case. In terms of watchability. What did you have for your most disappointing team?
The Titans.
Go ahead and explain.
Because they can't decide if they want to be a good team or not.
That's a good way to put it. That is
Look, I don't think they struggled a bit with the Mariota injury earlier. Obviously Delaney Walker's out. But other than that, their team is not changed that much. And yet their record and their ability to play football keeps changing. They beat the defending Super Bowl champions and then immediately lose to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that's
what are you doing, Tennessee? Get your shit together.
Yeah. That Titans actually I had on my list too, most disappointing. Their defense is good, and they didn't even play well last game. And Mariota, he had some good, nice plays in that game, but they just gave up a lead, and it's like, what in the world's happening?
To the Bills.
It's the Bills. I can't. It's what is happening. So yeah, Titans. We are just shitting the bed on picking that team right now. I have no idea how to think of that team at all. I
had a solution, but Chris wasn't gonna go for it this week.
Right. Well, okay. So the proposal. You could go into it if you'd like.
It was just okay. So one of us picks the Titans to win, and one of us picks the Titans to lose, and then one of us will at least get them right.
Right. But I think the stalemate is I think we both expect the Titans to lose.
Yeah, and the problem is they're gonna win that game. So.
Right, so then you should pick the Titans to win then.
Yeah, but they're gonna lose.
Right, exactly. So this is why we're in this predicament at the moment. is that you and I agree on the Titans. The Titans don't agree on the Titans, and,
Yes.
and it's not. It's sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Who knows?
Yep.
I don't know. I guess my most disappointing team was the Jaguars. And I just for the fact that I don't think it's going to affect them in the long term. Because I think that Blake Bortles had he had a bad game, but it wasn't like it was like he had some beautiful throws in the game. Like he was doing good things. But this is the first game that at least it seems that they've lost without Leonard Fournette.
Yes.
And they bring in Jamal Charles this week. I don't think that's. It might do something. Who knows?
It's a change of pace from T.J. Yeldon.
Right. Well, T.J. Yeldon though is having a pretty good season. Like he's kind of like he's making up for the fact that he was kind of a bust that made them pick Fournette. But he's been playing well. But my concern with this team is that when you have an offensively strong opponent like the Chiefs that you're going to have to face in the playoffs or just even down the stretch, they have some offensively based teams that they're going to have to deal with. My concern is that can your offense not turn over the ball for a few games, and can the defense play well enough against that offense to slow them down? It's kind of like right now in this NFL where like the offense has been dominating the first few weeks. It just concerns me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Jaguars for me. I'm actually surprised that we didn't touch on the Falcons now that I think about it.
Yeah, that was rough.
They're in a rough spot. I don't really know what to think of them as a team right now. But we'll see. I think that, again, maybe things turn around for them, but I had I was not happy about picking the Steelers last week, but I just felt it coming, and it did, and now I feel like the Falcons have to turn it around. They have to turn it around this week, and they have to beat this Bucs team, which is going to be one of the first games that we get to in our picks. Which, speaking of, let's talk about that real quick.
Do it.
You, my friend. Yeah, do it, because I'm winning.
Fuck, dude. No.
Right. You are kicking my asshole right now. You got
Good.
is a 9-2 in points right now, because I am a -2 in point differential. You're +1 after both getting your Team Chaos and your guarantee correct. So you are
time
now...
I get my guarantee right.
Yeah, the guarantee's been rough for both
so
of us.
well on my Team Chaos, but not my guarantee.
Yeah, the guarantees has not been good for either of us this season. But you're at 42-34, almost separating it by 10 wins. You're at 8 games separation from that. So pretty good. I'm sitting at 40-36, really uncomfortably close to 500. And again with the -2, really making things difficult for myself.
All right.
But
there's still a lot of football to go.
There's a lot of football to go. And we will see how this week plays out. And I have a feeling we're going to disagree on a lot of these games. But let's see. Let's start with the Eagles at the Giants. A Thursday night football game where the Eagles need a win. They've lost 2 in a row now, I believe. They lost to the Titans and then the Vikings, I believe.
Yes.
So they are on a 2-game skid, and they need this victory. But they do have to go on the road, and no Thursday night football team has won on the road yet this year. And the Giants, who are coming off of a very, very close and slightly agonizing loss, but they're hoping that they could get some kind of victory that's not the Houston Texans, and get a win at home for once. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Eagles are in a rough spot, I think, both record-wise and mentally. J.J. also was just placed on the injured reserve.
Yeah, he's out.
Something that probably should have been done sooner, but was done for a completely different injury. So what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
And I think that might give the Giants the edge with how well they've been doing the past couple weeks. And at least like last week was the first time they broke 30 points in like 2 seasons,
Yeah,
which
that
is
was
another
something.
note.
That was
Yeah.
weird.
Maybe they'll do it again this week. What does this count as a team chaos?
For sure.
Giants over Eagles.
Yeah, I I think that would absolutely. I think it's a valid team chaos because of the fact that the Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champions and losing to the Giants would put you in a 2-4 tailspin, and it's not good. So I agree. I agree with the team chaos there, and I'm not gonna go with the Giants because I just genuinely do not want to touch the Giants. I'm gonna go with the Eagles on this one. I just think the team is there. The Eagles are a better team, and that they are sitting at a point where they need to turn things around. And there's a lot of there's a good amount of good coaches in the league, but we saw what Doug Peterson did for this team last year. I think he has the ability to turn things around for them. They're injury riddled, but I think that they will get the job done. Eagles will win.
All right.
Next up, the Buccaneers at the Falcons. The divisional rivalry. Bucks are coming off of bye, and Jameis Winston will get his first start of the year. The Falcons are coming off of yet another loss, and they're just hoping, praying that they can get a victory after a 3-game skid, rather. What do you got going for this game?
God, I hope the Falcons win this one. Like, it is that like even after last week, I still think they're better than their record.
Yes.
But they need a break.
They do.
I don't think that they're gonna be the like home Super Bowl team contender this year. I think that's a story for next year. Where's next year's Super Bowl?
Good question. I think that's might be Arizona. I'm not too sure though.
2020 Super Bowl. I'll try to keep talking as I keep looking this up.
Well,
so, anyways, I think I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Miami.
Oh, it's Miami.
South Florida specifically. Miami will get the event in 2020. Los Angeles 2021.
I don't know.
I don't think we're getting that storyline again very soon.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm going with the Falcons myself as well. I don't have faith in Jameis Winston, although the Bucks have a good offensive coaching staff this year that has made Ryan Fitzpatrick a star, and as well as a good weaponry. I just don't have enough faith in him, and they have a really bad defense. It's going to be a shootout for the ages in Atlanta, which usually means when we predict that it's going to be a slugfest. But it being in Atlanta, it being at home, and the Falcons have played well at home and have just lost really close games, I'm going with the Falcons. Next up, the Bengals are hosting the Steelers. The Bengals have dropped the last 6 against the Steelers, and they need this game to keep a steady lead of the AFC North. The Steelers, of course, are coming off a great win, but it's not going to mean anything if you can't win in conference, and especially if you can't win in division. What do you got in this one?
The Bengals are going to snap that streak.
I agree.
Not much to say. The Bengals are a good team.
Yeah.
Perfect is doing his thing. Maybe a overall boost to the defense, which they sorely need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just that momentum that the Bengals have had, and the Bengals being a team that has not tied to the Browns, will take this one. So I'm going Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going Bengals as well, and I have to see it a few weeks in a row for me to get convinced that the Steelers team is truly back. I feel like they showed that they could be back against the Falcons, but this is a tough team to play. The Bengals defense needs to play better for sure in this one, but I have enough faith for the Bengals offense that they get it done. They did have a great comeback against Miami last week, and I think Miami might be a slightly better team than the Steelers. So slightly, it's very, very, very slightly.
By the way, the away home split last week was 3 away teams winning. So if something like that happens again this week, I will be stopping this contest.
So we are absolutely not following this bold prediction line anymore after next week if this keeps on going in the bad direction.
Yes.
Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers, who have sneakily been getting better. But they played a nice game against the Raiders, but now they go to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns, who that 132-1 record before the Browns' second win. That one win was against the Chargers, but this Chargers team is much different. They're a lot more stacked, and will Baker Mayfield be able to stop the Chargers?
It's going to be difficult. This was probably somehow this was the hardest game for me to choose.
Sure.
But I think I'm going to give this to Philip Rivers.
Yeah, Philip
And
Rivers.
the Chargers.
I've liked the Chargers since this offseason. I really think that they're a great team. However, I got Team Chaos, the Browns. I'm too hyped. I'm too hyped for this Browns team. They're playing really well at home, like I've said earlier, and I think it's going to be a tough place. And I'm, as much as I've said that the Chargers have improved, I'm a little still sketched out about how they played against the Niners a few weeks back. And they did beat the Raiders of all teams. So this Chargers team can get good, I think really good, especially when Joey Bosa comes back. But I'm a little worried about them. I'm going Browns Team Chaos in this one. Next up, the Buffalo Bills, coming off their win against the Titans, will have to go to another AFC South team to face the Texans at home at the Houston. And the Texans, they're getting back on the right track. They're on a 2-game winning streak. And they're hoping that could continue, especially against what should be an inferior Bills team, but this, who knows? The Bills are another one. They're like, what the fuck's happening? What do you got in this one, Gocubs?
I tell you what, Hopkins is currently the leader in receiving yards in the league, which is pretty awesome for this team.
Right.
And I think that with the other weapons that they have at wide receiver, even if their running back situation isn't that great, they will be able to have some success, especially with their wide receivers against the Bills team. So yeah. I'm going to go with the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, I
can't pick the Bills.
Yeah,
I know they've won 2 games. I can't pick them.
With the Bills, it's like they have these games where Josh Allen awakens and he has this. He doesn't play amazingly, especially if you see the stats of him when he's actually gets like pressure on him. It's abysmal. But when he's able to escape out of the pocket, run the ball a little bit, he's pretty good. And it is. I get so worried about picking a Bills game now because I just think that if I pick against them, that things are gonna go awry. But not only am I picking the Texans, I'm guaranteeing it.
All right.
I am here for this Texans victory. Look, the one thing that worries me with the Texans is the red zone offense, but I feel good about them beating the Bills, especially at home. They're going to do it.
Yeah.
So let us move forward here. The Chicago Bears, are heading to Miami in their orange jerseys. By the way, they're gonna go.
Yes.
In the nice.
I love the orange jersey. I really like the orange jerseys.
They're bringing back the orange jerseys for the first time in a long time, and they're gonna be going up against the Miami Dolphins. They're coming off a bye. The Dolphins are coming off of what seemed to be they were going to win, and then the Bengals just completely wrecked them in the second half. It was a tale of 2 halves there, and the Dolphins just fell apart once again. Will the Dolphins still have a winning record at the end of this game? Go Cubs!
No. Look, yeah, the Bears coming off a bye, I think will help them get a little more rested, maybe a little bit more time to practice. The dual threat monster that is Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen, both of them being able to be used in different situations, but like both of them being very skilled in their specific situation. Yeah. Mitch Trubisky 2 weeks ago having the game of his the best game of his life, and one of the best quarterback games of the season at that.
All right.
That is going to probably not do as well as against a Dolphins defense that is better than I think people think. But man, how is this Dolphins offense going to do anything to Chicago?
I don't know.
They're not. So Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I can think about with this game is Adam Gase was on Chicago a few years back, and that's where he got hired to become the Dolphins coach. But he has not been around for this Bears defense to be good and be really good, in fact. And I just don't see him turning things around this week. I think the Dolphins are just not as talented of a team as the Bears, and I think the Bears defense gets it done. It is at home. It's on the road, and I'm not saying it's going to be an easy win for the Bears, but I think
it is the first time that Mitchell Trubisky has been favored on the road.
Exactly. I think things are looking up for this team, and I'm confident in them. They're the leaders of the NFC North. What can go wrong?
They are.
They're right. Bears. We're going with the Bears. Next up, the Cardinals at the Vikings. Cardinals, of course, coming off their first win of the year, so we won't have an 0-16 team this year.
Thank God.
No more storylines on that front, but
I don't need the stress of getting to the end of a season and knowing that a team could go 0-16.
Yeah, well, you were enjoying.
I wanted it to happen to the Browns, but I don't want it to happen 2 years in a row because my philosophy was the Browns have done so much wrong,
and they deserve the 0-16.
Front office, their head coach, keeping the head coach, so much wrong that since they've joined the league in 1998, and notice I said in 1998,
right?
Yeah. The Browns live in hell, and they had to reach the bottom of the barrel in order to escape hell. Things will be up for them now.
Yeah. I don't care who the team is. I don't like seeing a team go 0-16, even if it was the Patriots. I would like 1-15 maybe, but not 0-16. It's hurtful.
Anyways, Cardinals Vikings.
Yeah, Cardinals.
Vikings at home, coming off of NFC Championship revenge match. Got that momentum against the Arizona Cardinals. It's not going to be much of a contest. I'm going Vikings.
It's got to be Vikings unless you have another really bad team go into Minnesota and win again. The Vikings, they overlook the Bills. They better not overlook the Cardinals. But I'm going with the Vikings in this one. They've been starting to play well. They're getting back into it, and I think especially the Eagles game proved that. Next up, the Jets are hosting the Colts. Not really much to say about this game. Jets are coming off a really, really good win against the Broncos. The Colts are coming off a really, really bad loss against the Patriots. But they had injury issues as well. What do you got in this one, Gocubs?
I never thought I would lock the Jets in my lifetime.
Ooh!
But the Colts injuries with, especially T.Y. Hilton and Jack Doyle, are really going to limit what Luck is going to be able to do. The Jets coming off of a hot win. Sam Darnold is playing pretty darn well. Did you catch that? Because his last name is Darnold. So I'm going to go with the Jets at home in their weird colored uniforms.
Now, see, I was about to compliment you on picking the two New York teams for your Team Chaos and Guarantee. But now I don't want to. After that, because of that pun. Now I'm offended. Now I'm kidding.
I actually didn't even realize that.
Yeah, the Giants. I am proud. I am proud of you for picking those two teams. I'm going with the Jets as well. I'm not picking my Giants because I think that they're actually I kind of want the Giants to lose so we get a good pick next year again. But no, I appreciate your faith in the New York teams. I feel that energy from your place in Illinois. Let's move forward here. The Seahawks are going to London with the Raiders. They're going to London. It's a London game. And it's going to be a lot of fun. London games are fun. But Raiders are coming off a rough loss, and there's rumors now that Amari Cooper could get traded, that Derek Carr could be fucking traded. Like,
Of course, there's rumors. Look, they're not gonna get rid of Khalil Mack. Look, I know they're stupid for getting rid of Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
But they're not that stupid to get rid of Khalil Mack so that they can keep Derek Carr and then get rid of Derek Carr.
Right.
They're not that daft.
If they are, it's gonna be really something. I would be really.
Hope they like that Vegas paycheck. They're not gonna be winning very many games.
Vegas paycheck. It's true. I mean, you want this team to be ready to like really perform once they get to Las Vegas. And you don't want what happened with the Rams their first year, where it's just all downhill in the first year. Yeah, you don't want that. Now I have no faith in this Raiders team. What do you got in terms of the picks? Are you picking the Seahawks or nah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm picking Seahawks too.
Raiders are at home, but they're not. So
they're not. I am with you. I not so much the home aspect, but I'm impressed with the Seahawks. They're playing better than what everyone expected them to. I think that's mostly because of Pete Carroll and what he's been able to do, and that roster is not as bad as we also thought. But they're also facing the Raiders, and so that's just an easy pick. So we're Seahawks. Next up, the Panthers are heading to Washington and take on the Redskins. Redskins are playing better at home, but it is the Panthers that they're facing. What do you got on this one, Gocubs?
I gotta go with the Panthers. They're a hot team. They're gonna get hotter.
So hot to the touch.
Yeah, so hot. They're one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah. All right, yeah. I think that's fair to say. They're looking more like an all-around team than expected by a lot of people. Not you. You're on you've been riding the bandwagon. I think a lot of people haven't really thought about this team as being all-around good, and they're starting to look that way. I'm going with the Panthers as well. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams are coming off their 5th straight win. They're going to Denver, which it's supposed to be. I think it's going to be snowing in this game.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that'll be fun. Take on the Broncos, who are in a 3-game skid. 2 different teams going in 2 different directions. What do you got in this one, Gocubs?
Cooks and Cup, I think, are fine. And having those 2 stud wide receivers back for a team that still won the game even without them, the Rams are going to just steamroll the Broncos at mile high.
I don't know for sure if the wide receivers will be back, but I do feel confident in the Rams. They're able to pull as long as Sean McVay is the coach, they're able to figure out anything, it seems. And I don't have that much faith in this Broncos team. I'm going with the Rams. The only thing I can think of is the snow that may affect them as being a sunny team, but that's like they have Todd Gurley. I mean, they mostly with the snow games is the running game that matters. Todd Gurley will do the job. He'll be fine.
Also, they did come from the Midwest like 3 years ago.
That's true. A lot of those,
and the Midwest is a hellscape of weather.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are gone now, but yeah, it's fair.
Right.
Let's say that one more time.
Gurley was still there though, right?
Yes. No, Gurley was there. Gurley, I think he played 1 season with the team.
There you go.
Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off of a loss against the Chiefs, and then head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Cowboys have performed once again. It's another one of those they perform better at home, but are they really a good team thing? And the Cowboys are one of those teams. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, they just need to have that performance against the Chiefs, against the Cowboys, and I think they could beat the Cowboys. Maybe not the Chiefs, but they could beat the Cowboys. But I don't know. What do you think, Gocubs?
The boys are back in town, but they're gonna get mauled.
Yeah.
Let's go Jaguars. The Jaguars are gonna bounce back. Chiefs are a good team.
You're right. No, I think that's fair. I just have my general concerns about the Jaguars, but that's always going to be the case with me. I cannot completely put 100% faith in this team, but they'll beat the Cowboys. Really good. I'm going with them. The Cowboys. What are the Cowboys at this point? They've disappointed so much already this season. People are like, "Oh, well, when are they going to turn it around?" Maybe they won't. Maybe
they won't this season.
Yeah, like they did.
But,
they did last season.
Fuck, the NFC East sucks.
Yeah, it's really bad. 9 wins, could probably do it, maybe 8. Ugh,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Uh,
Next
they're
up.
probably the worst division.
Oh, I think it's become that
Yeah,
point.
because West isn't. West at least has the Rams. North is good. South is good for the NFC.
Yeah.
AFC, North is good. East still has the Patriots and I guess the Dolphins.
I guess the Dolphins.
South has the Jaguars and the Titans.
Titans question mark? Yeah. Texans are starting to get back. You know.
Texans. And then the West has the Chiefs and Broncos and Chargers are kind of mid high.
I have much more faith in the Chargers than the Broncos.
Oh, me too. Me too. The Broncos just definitely seem better this year than they were last year.
No, for sure.
But yeah, go Jaguars.
Yeah, the NFC East is bad. Next up, all right, the moment of truth: the Ravens at the Titans.
Are we gonna? Should we do?
Well, all right. So we already talked about both of these teams pretty much. So let's just get right into it. What do you? What are you gonna do?
I can't not pick the Ravens.
Is that what we're gonna go with?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. We can just both do Ravens.
I'm sorry, man. I gotta go Ravens too.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Ravens. I am so sorry that we're picking you to win. I'm so sorry, but we have too much faith in you. I don't see this team dropping 2 in a row. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, nothing makes sense to me.
Nothing
really.
makes sense this season.
Yeah, it's football, I guess. At the same time.
Yeah. Like 2 seasons ago was like all predictable.
That's true. 2016.
Yeah.
Get out of our face, 2016. You sucked.
You suck.
You suck.
Bad.
All right, let us do Sunday Night Football. This is gonna be the game of the week. Chiefs going to New England to take on the Patriots.
I want to see the Patriots play in Arrowhead.
Yeah, well, it's not happening. It's not happening this week. Last time they played at Arrowhead, they got smoked.
Yeah.
And I miss those times. But now they're hosting this game in New England, and they're coming off of 2 really, really good wins. But they're going up against a Chiefs team that has been dominating, especially on the offensive side. Patrick Mahomes, all the great storylines with that. What's happening in this game, Gocubs?
How do you I know I didn't pick the Chiefs last week, but how do you not pick the Chiefs? And again, I know it's the Patriots, but Mahomes and that offense is on fire. All of them are working together great. They are 5-0, even beating the Jacksonville fucking Jaguars defense. So I have to go with the Chiefs.
This is testing me. I gotta say, it's testing me.
It is.
Because
not pick the Patriots.
This is my streak on the line of picking the Patriots to win games.
That's right. Yeah, you've picked the Patriots every time, haven't you?
I have, and that's how that my pick record with them is the same as their actual record because I pick them every single time. It's not changing this week. I'm going Patriots. I gotta look. The Patriots to me. The least surprising thing about this entire season is that the Patriots started 2-2 and then blew out their opponent in Week 5. It is, to me, this team is utterly predictable and has been for a while. I can only hope that chaos comes through and the Chiefs are able to beat the shit out of the Patriots, and I hope that's true. But we're doing a prediction podcast. And I'm going with what I think would be right, except for obviously the team chaoses and the guarantees. You know, we don't know for sure about those anymore.
Right.
But I gotta go with the Patriots because that's the mold that I've been forced into by this fucking Patriots team. But I will be glad to get this one wrong. That's for sure. So
yeah,
I'll go with the Patriots. Next up, the Packers on Monday Night Football. Hosting the Niners. Man, this was we almost had like 3 straight weeks or at least 4 of the next 5 weeks were going to be primetime 49ers games. We got out of one. They flexed the Chiefs-Bengals game into Sunday Night Football.
Oh, good.
Last week.
Thank God.
For this upcoming week, which is going to be a great game especially if the Bengals and Chiefs both win this week. But we do have to suffer through the Niners a little bit here and there. What do you think? I mean, what do you think?
I gotta go with the Packers.
Yeah.
I don't want them to win games because I want the Bears to have as much of a lead as possible.
Yeah.
But even with how bad I will stand by that the Packers are not a good team without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I can't pick them against the 49ers.
Yeah, the Niners disappointed me last week. Thought that they could beat the Cardinals at home with C.J. Beathard not playing terribly, and then C.J. Beathard plays terribly. So there you go.
Yeah.
The Packers are gonna win this, and they're in a really bad spot. They need this win, and I want to see the Packers succeed in some ways, not as much as the Bears. I want the Bears to succeed more right now because the hype train with this podcast for sure. But I just want to see the Packers and Bears in the playoffs. I would like to see them face each other in the playoffs. That would be amazing. You couldn't handle stretch.
I still have PTSD from 2011.
Yeah, I get that. It would be fun. It would be fun in my eyes. But no, look, the Packers are in a really rough spot. If this was any of there's a lot of other teams that I think could beat them right now, but this is a really easy game. They need this game, and it's at home. Packers. Feel good about that. Will I succeed this week? Fuck, who knows?
I don't know. I picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 road teams to win though.
8. Yeah, we deferred on 3 overall.
Usually we defer on like about 3.
Yeah, so I was surprised. I initially thought when you said away games, I was like, oh my god, I have a lot of home teams that I picked. Yeah. But then go figure, one of those games was I picked an away team and you picked a home team. So
right,
there you go. And we'll see how it goes. One thing I want to point out, because I forgot to point it out earlier, as we've been talking about the team picks. I've been trying to keep track of the season as much as I can. As we stated earlier, the Titans are our worst team, but as of now, Gocubs, that is your only team that you have not picked correctly against at this point.
Excellent.
So you're in good shape.
Fuck you, Packers.
Yeah, the Rams. Well, it's actually Washington, but.
Oh, fuck you, Washington. Same thing. Both.
The Rams and Seahawks you're currently sitting undefeated with right now. So Seahawks, I think, is the biggest surprise there. But you're doing really well with predicting them this year. I only have the Rams at this point, and in addition to the Titans, I got Packer demons to overcome, and it better be this week. If the Packers lose to the Niners, they deserve not to be in the playoffs. I'll just put it that way.
100%. I will love everything.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be wonderful for you. And that's where we're at right now. So we'll see how it goes this week. I'm looking forward to this week as I do every week. But this is a good slate of games overall, and we're starting to see how this season is shaping out. This is when the teams start pulling away from each other, man. We're gonna see the contenders for the pretenders. I think.
Yes.
I think. I don't know. Anyways, guys. That is it for me. Go fantasy with Gocubs.
Go fantasy with Gocubs, yes. Not much this week, but one trend on the I don't have anything specific players. One trend on the season that I'm noticing is that there are a lot of teams, and they're not like in one specific division. There are a lot of teams with just shit defenses. If you get one of those matchups, like the Chiefs or I guess the Bengals, the Falcons, maybe the Steelers, like don't hesitate. Put them in, start them. You'll be great. Golden. Mwah.
Yeah. It's just the case, I think, throughout the league right now. It's just there's an offensive explosion that's happening. I think mostly because the quarterbacks are staying healthy. Some can be attributed to the flags, I guess, but
yeah,
it's an offensive explosion that's happening in the NFL, and it's for the better. As for people who play fantasy with defenses, first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, It has been a rough season for you, but as long as I think you need one of the signature ones, like the Jaguars and
Or the Bears.
or the Bears. That's true.
Yeah,
You know?
the Bears are one of the best defenses this season. I will stand by that fact.
Yeah. By the way, one
Nice
thing
number stats.
I want to bring up one more thing about the Panthers because I didn't think about it at the time. Thomas Davis is back this week.
Yes.
He's coming off a suspension, so I'm
Yes.
very happy to see him back, and that I think will even further cement, or at least hope to cement, a Panthers victory this week. Because he should be good. He's been he's got like ever since he won the whatever it's called, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. He's been a great player, even though that those two things are not really meant to go together. It just has been the case. It's very unique.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it. Any recommendations, Gocubs, for TV or anything, movies, books,
I guess, yeah. Super Mario Party is pretty good.
video games? That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. That is our department, is video games.
Right. Yeah. Best Mario Party game in a long time, since 8, for sure. Probably better than 8. Good mini games, back to the traditional boards.
Yeah.
You can play at, so that's automatically a plus.
You cut out there. You played as what?
As Bowser, so that's automatically a plus.
Yes. One thing I noticed about the Mario Party before we end off here, the really cool implementation of that you could play the game before actually playing the game in the practice menu.
Yes. Yeah, that's great.
That's like that. It gives me flashbacks to a very small game that no one cares about, which is Hamtaro Ham games, where you got to practice before you had to enter and actually play it for real. And it was very helpful. It was a good system mechanic, and they actually are implementing it in a major Mario Party title. So there you go. All right, let us end it off here, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. We should be back to our normal time next week. Maybe we'll see. And
Shit happens.
shit's gonna hit the fan. Who knows? And with that being said, Gocubs, thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another. Be kind to one another. And I'll see you guys next time.